Now that we know about the greatness of Meena2 Nakshatra Siddhantha, let us look at its pillars. One of the most, when we say pillars, they are the points or the breakthroughs, we can call them, made by Param Pujya Guruji. Break standing points, which are unique to Meena2 Nakshatra Siddhantha, where you will not find anywhere else. But our Param Pujya Guruji has brought it to the world through his decades and decades of dhyan, tapas, penance. He has brought it to the world, and which is what we will be talking about in the form of the pillars of Meena2 Naadi system. You will not find this being discussed in as much depth anywhere, these concepts that we are speaking about here. Right? So let us get into what are the pillars of Meena2 Naadi Siddhantha. We are going to be releasing a series of videos on each of these pillars so that you can understand and appreciate the concept behind it more. We already have I have already taken a series of videos on Nakshatra Digbala, which is already there in Meena2 online channel. You can go through it. But now let us take a brief glimpse at each of these pillars. Meena2 Naadi Siddhantha considers these four as its main pillars. We consider these four the main pillars because they are the most important, significant milestones or turning points of Nakshatra Siddhantha that Param Pujya Guruji Meena2 has discovered. First is Utthama Drekkana. Utthama Drekkana is a concept which is so special to Param Pujya Guruji NV Raghavachari Garu that he has been fondly called as Utthama Drekkana Raghavachari Garu. He presented this concept with his findings very strongly. He presented in his groundbreaking talk in 1986 in Indian Institute of Astrology in Madras. He's presented this concept, which is, which we call it as one of its groundbreaking talks. So Uttama Drekkana, we all know Drekkana. Drekkana is a division of a sign into three parts. There are 9 Padhas in a sign. Uttama Drekkana is a division of that sign into 3 parts, which we say each Drekkana has 3 Padhas. So across the zodiac, where there are 12 rasis, 12 signs, there are 36 Drekkanas. Of all these 36 Drekkanas, right, there are 3 Drekkanas in each rasi. Of these 3 Drekkanas in a rasi, 1 Drekkana is considered to be superior than the other 2. It is considered to be uttama than the other 2. That is called as Uttama Drekkana. So in each rasi, we have 1 Drekkana which is called as Uttama Drekkana. So across the zodiac, there are 12 Uttama Drekkana. Within Uttama Drekkana, there are 3 Nakshatra Padhas, so within a rasi, there are 9 Padhas. If I am dividing that rasi into 3 Padhas, there will be, if I am dividing that rasi into 3 parts, each Drekkana will have 3 Padhas. So in Uttama Drekkana, there are 3 Padhas, of which 1 Pada is the most superior. We call that as Vargottama. And the other 2 Padhas are called as Parivartana Padhas, which form the Uttama Drekkana. Uttama Drekkana is of prime importance in Meena2 Naadi Siddhantha. So such is the greatness that Param Pujya Guruji in his talk at that time presented it. He said, when Lagna Pada of a person falls in an Uttama Drekkana, or Vargottama Pada or an Uttama Drekkana Pada, if that Lagna Pada falls in Uttama Drekkana, that native rises to prominence. If the Lagna Lord falls in Uttama Drekkana, the Lagna Star Lord is falling in Uttama Drekkana. Such is the greatness of this concept, Uttama Drekkana. So he kept stressing on the point that don't look at a planet posited in a sign. A planet posited in a sign may or may not give results. So the best example is Shukra. If Shukra is exalted in the horoscope, people say, wow, Shukra is exalted, Shukra is Ucha, Shukra Dasa Uste, Shukra Dasa comes, you will go to great heights. But what will happen? You all know, you would have seen, Shukra Dasa comes and goes, nothing happens. In some charts it happens, some charts it doesn't happen. Two very similar charts you see in terms of planet posited in a Rasi. But one chart it gives good results, other chart there are no good results. Why? A planet posited in a sign. If a planet is Shukra is posited in Pisces, it is exalted. But which nakshatra is it posited? If Shukra is exalted in Pisces, which nakshatra is it posited? Is it in Purva Bhadrapada nakshatra, Uttara Bhadrapada or Revati? Where is Shukra? That influences the result given. That is the prime mantra, Moola mantra of Meena2 Nakshatra Siddhantha. So in Uttar Madrikana also you see Lagna falls in Meena. But where is it falling? Is it falling in Purva Bhadrapada, Uttara Bhadrapada or Revati? If that Lagna is falling in Revati 2, 3, 4, amongst 2, 3, 4 if it is falling, Revati 2nd, 3rd or 4th Pada, Lagna Pada falls in Uttama Drikana Pada. Then that is special. Because the Lagna becomes very powerful. That is the concept given by Param Pujya Guruji. Next, let us come to Nakshatra Dikbala. This Nakshatra Dikbala is a very dear concept to Param Pujya Guruji, to Meena2 Nakshatra Siddhantha. What is that Nakshatra Dikbala? Dikbala as a concept has been given by many of our classical texts discuss about Dikbala, Dikbala, which is directional strength. Today you Google, you will find many texts happening about, many series of information coming in about Dikbala, directional strength, you will find. And there are a lot of classical texts that talk about Nakshatra Dikbala, that talk about Dikbala. What does a Dikbala mean? When does a planet get Dikbala? There are many principles that our ancient seers have given us. But our Param Pujya Guruji has taken up that Dikbala concept and taken it to the next level, calling it as Nakshatra Dikbala. So, in our ancient texts, we all know there is a set, in a set direction, some planets gain strength when they are associated with a particular Kendra, and we take 1, 4, 7, 10 as the main houses to be considered while we are looking at Dikbala. So, our ancient texts say that Jupiter and Mercury gain Dikbala in the Lagna, that is Guru Buddha gain Dikbala in the Lagna, Moon and Venus gain Dikbala in the 4th house, Saturn Rahu gain Dikbala in the 7th house, Sun, Mars and Ketu gain Dikbala in the 10th house. How? If they are posited. So, if Jupiter and Mercury are posited in the Lagna, they gain Dikbala. Moon and Venus are posited in the Lagna, they gain in the 4th house, they gain Dikbala. Saturn, Rahu are posited in the 7th house, they gain Dikbala. Sun, Mars and Ketu are posited in the 10th house, which means by means of occupation, they gain Dikbala. With that, that much is the information we get from the ancient texts. But our Param Pujya Guruji, Sri NVRA Garu, he took it a notch higher after its decades of research in Nadi Siddhantha. He says, he's propounded a beautiful concept of Nakshatra Dikbala. He says, for a planet to gain Dikbala, it doesn't have to be sitting in the house only. It doesn't have to be necessarily occupying the house. But if it gains connection in any way with the particular house, it gains Dikbala. And we call that as Nakshatra Dikbala. One example I will give you. Suppose we say Guru in Lagna gains Dikbala. But our Param Pujya Guruji says, Guru doesn't necessarily have to be posited in the Lagna. It doesn't have to be sitting in the Lagna to gain Dikbala. But if it's connected in any way also, it gets Dikbala. So, one such example of a connection is, suppose Guru is himself not sitting in the Lagna, but Guru's star lord is sitting in the Lagna. So, if Guru is in Revati Nakshatra, Revati Nakshatra's lord is Buddha, Mercury. So, Guru is not in the Lagna. So, Jupiter is not in the Lagna, but if Mercury is sitting in the Lagna, that is Guru's star lord is sitting, then Guru also gains Dikbala. So, there are 8 such beautiful rules of Nakshatra Dikbala given by our Param Pujya Guruji, which there is already a series of 3 videos uploaded in Meena2 online channel, which you can go and refer to. This Nakshatra Dikbala is of utmost importance in predictions. Param Puja Guruji says it's the most powerful yoga in a horoscope. In many prominent personalities' horoscopes, if you see, you will find multiple planets having Nakshatra Digbala, and they are posited in favorable conditions also. Then they give extraordinary results. A detailed explanation of Digbala is already there for you in the form of a 3-part series, which you can see. Next is the concept of Jiva and Sharira, soul and body. This is another path-breaking concept introduced by Param Puja Guruji in Nakshatra Siddhantha context. Jiva and Sharira as such is not something that is new to us. The concept of a soul and a body is not something that is new to us at all. We've been, by way of philosophy, by way of Sanatana Dharma, by way of many means, we've been hearing this and we know of it as well. What is the soul and the body? Jiva and Sharira. This Param Puja Guruji brought about in the context of Nakshatra Siddhanta, saying how will you predict the result of a bhava using the Jiva and Sharira for a bhava. So he used the double stellar dispositor theory to say that you should take into consideration the Jiva and Sharira for a bhava lord as well, to look at the results being given for that bhava. So to give a simple example, we say in Jiva and Sharira, if A is in the star of B, this becomes the Jiva, and this B is in the star of C, this becomes the Sharira. This is the simple layman explanation of what is a Jiva and Sharira, a simple explanation of it, a very layman explanation of what does Jiva and Sharira mean. A very simple explanation. This he has given in 1 or 2 lines only, this Jiva and Sharira principle. He has very briefly talked about our Param Puja Guruji, but he has explained very beautifully, saying that Jiva and Sharira have to be taken into consideration when you are talking about the results for a bhava. And nobody else has even introduced the application in Nakshatra Siddhanta. Anywhere you will not find a deeper application or even the introduction of application of Jiva and Sharira. This, our professor, his son, Param Puja Guruji's son, Professor NVRA Raja, he took upon himself as his first PhD thesis when he was doing his doctoral thesis, he took upon himself to do further research on this Jiva and Sharira concept. And he brought about this book, which got published as well, his own thesis, Junior Meena2's thesis, as Stellar Effects, Jiva and Sharira, which explains how to predict the results of a bhava using the Jiva and the Sharira for the planet in the same methods that you see here. There are deeper rules which are explained in this book of how do you find out what is the Jiva, what is the Sharira. But using this principle that was seeded in by Param Puja Guruji, his son took up, Junior Meena2, Professor Raja, he brought about extensive applications of Jiva and Sharira. You will not find it anywhere in the world. No other text would have thought about it. First time he brought about this extensive application of Jiva and Sareera, and how we can use the Jiva and Sharira concept to immediately predict the timing of events. It has the best application, one of the best tools you can use for predicting timing of events within minutes. Using Jiva and Sharira for a bhava, when does a marriage happen, when childbirth happens. There are many examples that Professor Raja has given in his book. So Jiva and Sharira is another very important pillar for Meena2 Naadi Siddhantam. Now, when we are predicting, nothing is complete without looking at the Jiva and Sharira of a bhava. We teach our students also, if you're looking at any Meena2 Naadi scholar, they will not tell you a prediction without looking at the Jiva and Sharira for that bhava. Our next and very important pillar is Gunas. It is though reserved for the last, they say last but not the least, it is though reserved for the last, This Gunas will come in block letters over all these pillars. Gunas. Our Param Pujya Guruji said when he penned down the concept of Gunas in this Practical Stellar Astrology book, he told Gunas, simply he said, Gunas are the future of prediction. What are the Gunas? We all know. What are the Gunas? Satvika, Rajasa, Tamasa. We all know what Gunas are there. Satvika Guna, Rajasa Guna, Tamasic Guna, and what each stands for we know. But our Param Pujya Guruji is the first person in the world to apply these Gunas in the context of Nakshatra Siddhantha to say how planets get Guna. But not only that, he has divided Gunas into 3 parts, 3-step theory of Gunas that Param Pujya Guruji has given. He has propounded, I have to highlight this here, he has propounded this theory of 3-step Gunas, which you will find nowhere in the world. 3-step theory of Gunas, which means you are dividing that planet, getting a Guna. Planet, we all know certain planets are Satvika, certain Rajasa. So Jupiter and Mercury are Satvika. Sun, Venus, Jupiter and Mercury are Satvika. Sun and Venus and Sun, Moon and Venus are Rajasa. Saturn, Mars, Rahu and Ketu are Tamasa planets. But that he has said that always a planet need not exhibit only one Guna. But by way of its circumstances in a chart, in the birth chart, the planet gains Gunas in 3 steps. Either SSS, SRT, TRS, whatever, it gains Gunas in 3 steps. And it displays each Guna during its period. Is a beautiful concept of 3-step theory of Gunas that he has given in his Practical Stellar Astrology book. There is a beautiful table. He has given a beautiful table. Based on this Gunas, are again his son, Junior Meena2, he brought about a very big book called Kalamsa Gunas. Sub-theory, Kalamsa theory, first introduced by Meena only. Sublord theory. That Param Pujya Guruji again took notches forward to give a hint of it. That his son, Junior Meena2, he took up this Param Pujya Guruji's concept, which they had given originally in Meena, that he took up that sublord theory, brought in deeper, went into Kalamsa, and he brought about Kalamsa linked with Gunas. So that is the beauty of this concept of Gunas. This is unique to Meena2 Nakshatra Siddhantha. You will not find the application of Gunas anywhere in predictions. Nobody would have spoken about it except our Param Pujya Guruji is the first and the only person to bring out the application of Gunas through Nadi Siddhantha in Nakshatra Siddhantha. And today, without Gunas, no prediction is complete. Gunas provide the nature of the result. Is it going to be Satvika, Rajasa or Tamasa? What is the nature of the result given? That is decided by the Gunas acquired by the planet only. It's again a very unique concept. These are our 4 major pillars. I can be talking for hours on each of these pillars, but this is one session might not be enough, so we have broken down each of these pillars to be brought to you in bite-sized videos, which will be coming up on Meena2 online channel. So these, apart from these 4 pillars, there are also 2 sub-pillars to this system, which is again unique to Meena2 Nakshatra Siddhantha, which play a mighty role in predictions using stellar astrology, the Binnapada and the reflection theory. Binnapada is a very unique concept that Param Pujya Guruji has brought in. Again, the Moola mantra is planet posited in the sign may not deliver the result. The star lord delivers the result, either positive or negative. Star lord delivers it. So in Binnapada, Param Pujya Guruji has brought about this very unique concept of how predictions vary, how the results vary when a planet is posited in Binnapada. What is the Binnapada? In the zodiac, there are certain nakshatras which spread across both the signs. In the zodiac, you will find certain nakshatras which spread across both the signs. So, if you have observed Kritika Nakshatra, Punarvasu Nakshatra, Mrigashira Nakshatra, they spread across two signs. You find Kritika Nakshatra across Mesha and Rishabha, Mrigashira across Rishabha and Mithuna. Then Mithuna across Mithuna and Karkataka, you find the Punarvasu Nakshatra. So, Sun, Mars and Jupiter's Nakshatra across the zodiac, they spread across two houses. They are called as Bhinnapada Nakshatras. So, whenever a planet is posited, this Param Pujya Guruji has given a beautiful concept. Whenever a planet is posited in Bhinnapada, it gives the result of two houses. That is the greatness of Bhinnapada. If a planet is posited in debilitation, if it is falling in Bhinnapada, then it is said to be moving out of its debilitation. So, if Sukra is in Uttara Nakshatra, it is said to be moving out of its debilitation. That is the greatness of Bhinnapada, which he has explained very beautifully through examples. In his 40 sutras, he has given a very beautiful example for Bhinnapada. Next is planet aspects through reflection theory. Physics is useful in astrology also, reflection theory. So, when A aspects B and B aspects C, the effect of A and B both are felt on C. So, B is called the reflecting planet, which is a very beautiful concept that Param Pujya Guruji has just seeded in. He just seeded that in. Very beautiful concept. If say that they should have two planets, three planets in the, you all know about planet aspects, A aspects B, and you study the effect of A on B. But reflection theory, if A aspects B, B also aspects C, then B reflects the effect of A onto C. Such a great concept of reflection theory. He seeded that in a very beautiful manner. How important this nakshatra. Then he has explained how both A and B effects are felt, and that is also a very important sub-pillar. And all of these pillars are seeded in concepts in Meena2 Nakshatra Siddhantha, which has been brought about as, a lot of research work has been done on each of these pillars. He has given 2-3 pages explanation, but 300-400 pages of work have come in on each of these pillars. On this reflection theory, Professor Haimavati, one of our faculty in JKR, she has also done a beautiful book on reflection theory that's come out on this concept of A reflecting B. Then there is a small page called Division of a Day into Nakshatras that our Param Pujya Guruji has given. Out of that, his son, Professor NVRA Raja Garu, has brought about Dr. Raja's Nakshatra Prashna, which we'll be talking about in detail in a separate video. Then one of the pillars in Nakshatra Digbala, linked with Gunas. I had done my own research. So great was the concept that I couldn't contain that in this book. But I managed whatever Param Pujya Guruji has given, I tried to contain in this book in Nakshatra Digbala and Gunas. So there are just small concepts which got seeded by Param Pujya Guruji in his book Practical Stellar Astrology, which we say each page is sutra in itself, is worth a research point. Each page, each line is worth a research. And today I feel very happy to have spoken about the origin of such a great system, the significance of such a great system, the pillars of Meena2 Nakshatra Siddhantha. I feel very blessed. It's not everybody who gets an opportunity to talk about this in depth in front of a forum, and I feel blessed. It's only with Param Pujya Guruji's blessings that I've been able to talk about this in front of you, and those who are listening also, again I say, are indeed blessed and will benefit greatly from Param Pujya Guruji's blessings. As I said, please stay tuned, please subscribe to Meena2 online channel and stay tuned for separate bite-sized videos on each of these pillars to help you absorb this beautiful Siddhantha, this beautiful Meena2 Nakshatra Siddhantha, and spread it across the world, benefiting people. Jai Meena2.